By this time next week, we should know whether Barack Obama or John McCain is our new president. We should know by that day.
There's only 6 days left. Political analyst Thom Serafin joins us with the latest. I think, Mike, you made a good point. Are we going to know the night of the elections or even the next day? How long could this go? Could this be dragged out to?
Well, legally it could drag out forever, but I think we'll know relatively early. Virginia and Florida should be states that John McCain does well in. Right now, it doesn't look like he will do well in based on a number of polls. So, that's the Eastern time zone. For here, I think people might be able to go to bed early that night.
Tom, I love the polls. I think I repeat that all the time. I'm being sarcastic, of course, but I'm seeing some that have John McCain, kind of bridging the gap, coming closer now, and I see others that have, Barack Obama. What do I believe? Obviously the truth maybe somewhere in the middle, but what is to believe come election day? Well,
there are Rasmussen and Gallup polls have us a little bit closer, 5 or 2% in that race. The undecideds are still out there, 7 to 12% undecided. So you have to go out and vote, and if you're undecided at this point in a non-incumbent election, you could go either way, Republican or Democrat. And this is an electoral college vote. So here in Illinois, it doesn't make any difference whether you're blue or red or you're Republican or Democrat for the rest of my lifetime. This is going to be a Democratic state, a blue state. So the electoral votes are in the Democratic column. But if, talking about Virginia, talking about Nevada, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, although that's pretty much a blue state, New Mexico, if any of those states go the other way, and they're all red states, it's going to be over with for John McCain. John McCain has to continue to focus on what he's been doing. He's been able to take the word change in the last 2 weeks and identify that with Joe the plumber and redistribution of wealth, throwing in the word of socialism. And Barack been kind of coasting. We've got the great Driscoll team here in the studios, and it's kind of with the lead with 2 minutes left in the football game, kind of sitting on your lead. He's been doing that. Tonight he's going to go on the air and try to get back to the health care issue, get back to other issues, and get off the economic issue.
Yeah, let's talk about this right now. This 30-minute infomercial for Barack Obama. He goes out and spends all this money because they've got a ton of money on their side. This doesn't seem fair to me. I mean, just in the political game in this country. So because he raises more money, he's able to go out and get his message across and buy 30 minutes of airtime.
Well,
is that fair?
Yes. If you're in the arena, they've run a terrific campaign, raised a lot of money, and they can afford $1 million a spot. I mean, that's what it's going to cost them on the 3 of the networks, although I think ABC won't be carrying that if you want to go to alternative programming or on cable. So they can afford it, so they can do it. That's the game. And McCain has been outspent in the battleground states.
Yeah, but is that fair? I mean, that's the main question there. I mean, you ran a campaign before. If you were the other candidate and you were sitting there going, why can't my candidate get 30 minutes of airtime as well?
Well, you're right. And early on, John McCain and Barack Obama, the campaigns had an agreement to take federal funding, the $82 million of federal dollars. That way they would have been equal. It turned out that all of a sudden, Barack's internet fundraising just took off.
Absolutely.
And so he had a lot of money. So he said, hey, I don't need to do the federal funding. And I think this particular election cycle, where he's going to raise over $650 million, more than $500 million to run for president of the United States as a Democratic candidate, I think that's going to have that experience will have destroyed federal funding. We're going to see new legislation in Congress to deal with this issue.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, maybe if he took all that money they were spending on the infomercial and redistributed that into society, then he'd get all the votes. Right?
Well, those votes are what they are.
Very quickly, that's a large portion of people that are still undecided. Why is that?
Well, I think they're still uncomfortable, and I think McCain's made some headway here. He reminds me a little bit of Hubert Humphrey back in '68 when Richard Nixon said he had a secret plan at the end of the Vietnam War. He didn't have a secret plan. The war went on for another 5-7 years. Hubert Humphrey kind of closed it down the stretch with a lot of momentum and just barely lost. And in this particular race, I sense John McCain coming back. I sense Joe the plumber, that argument about redistribution of wealth, taking it from somebody who actually works on Monday to somebody who doesn't work on Monday. I think people are concerned about that. I think Barack Obama has been a little bit too comfortable. That race has been too comfortable for him for 2 weeks. He's got to come back and hit on that issue and push back. He's got to finish strong. He's got all the money in the world. He's allowing, and you usually do this in the last 2 weeks of a campaign. You don't do news conferences. You don't talk to the press. You don't make mistakes. Barack has done all that. You allow paid media, the paid media on television, to speak for you, and they've done a good job. But they've been off message. The real message is about redistribution of wealth. That's what we need to get at. if I'm Barack Obama, and he's got to close that issue and go the other direction.
Just a few days
now,
left.
McCain is winning that issue.
Yeah. All right. Well, Thom Serafin, thanks for sharing your thoughts. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.